What's good, everybody? Pete here, Spawn Fly Fish, and it is time to get dirty on the vise. So, in the vise today, we do have something that's a little bit different, but not so different that you wouldn't recognize it. Tied with this hook 5-6 weeks ago. But today, in the vise, we have the Owner SSW size 2, and of course, this beautiful red finish. For the bead, I've just got a Dazzle brass bead from Hareline, size 1/8, metallic red, and then I've got 8 wraps of 0.015 lead-free wire to hold that bead in place. And I'm going to get some thread going real quickly here. Just got some pink in 6/0. Of course, 140 would definitely get it done. 70 would be fine on this one, or 8/0, but 6/0 is going to be my thread of choice for this guy. What are we going to tie today? We're going to tie a worm. I know too many people on social media having fun tying worms, and I feel left out. I love tying worms. Haven't tied them in a while. They're great. They're fun. They're interactive. When you're teaching somebody new how to tie, it's a fun fly to start with because it just makes sense. You can easily see what you're trying to emulate and go, yeah, that makes sense. Fish eat worms. Let me tie a worm. That's all we're doing today, folks. I'm going to highlight a product here and there too, but for the most part, just trying to keep that theme of having fun on the vise while still producing something that catches fish. So this tying a rib, this is very, very specific and very fancy. It's Tippet. It's 3X Tippet to be specific. And just going to grab it, tie it in. And where most flies, I'm very, picky about where we tie material in and all that. This is a worm, and we get some leeway today. We get to play. We get to have fun. No rules. Nothing's going to be wrong, if you will. All right, so our next material that we're going to tie in will be our second to last that we wrap, of course. And so all we're going to do is get a bunch of stuff tied in here and then kind of put it together. And so this is Scud back. And we've recently brought in both the 1/8 and 1/4 inch sizes in every color. So if you need Scud back, hit us up here at Spawn. We've got you. And it's a great material, and yes, of course, it does tie a Scud, like it says, but it also ties, in as a wing case. You can tie it as a body for a nymph, whatever. It's great material. It does a bunch of different stuff, not just single-minded Scud. Here it is. That's all you can do with it. Nah, use it for a bunch of stuff. In that same vein, here's some Kiley's Nymph skin, and this is the natural latex. And as you see, I did cut a little edge there, a little leading edge, if you will, a little angle, so that I can just grab that point. And now I can work my thread down at an angle, and it won't bunch up that skin on me as much. And that's pretty important, at least I think it is. We don't want a bunch of excess material unless we decide to bulk something up. So all we're going to have here is a slightly larger butt section, and then a small taper, and then a slightly bigger head. Well, guess what? You ever seen a worm? They don't just sit there unless they're dead. They're moving, they're expanding, they're shrinking back, and they're moving all around. And so where the volume of the body is changes. And so don't feel like you have to be super exact on anything with this. This is, again, a fun way to tie something that absolutely catches fish every day. And we're just kind of, going off of that mentality and go, well, what do fish eat? Feed them what they eat. Guess what? They eat all these little annelids, right? Little worms that live on the bottom of the lakes and come out in the springtime, all that good stuff. Fish know the deal. They know what's yummy. They know what's good. Worms, apparently, are part of that menu of yummy goodness. So we don't have to reinvent the wheel all the time. Just use the information we have, right? Which is fish eat worms. Go catch a bunch of fish. Oh, there's that one slip there of tension on my Kiley's Nymph skin, and it wants to jump a little, and that's okay. We're patient, right? It's not like we have 2 hours left on this fly. It's more like a couple minutes, and then we're done. Really solidify that skin though. Get a wrap in front, and right there, if you just tied it as that with some white thread or even black thread, what have you, you'd have a pretty gnarly grub, right? So like we're kind of looking at multiple flies here, I guess, to some degree. All right, so at this point, if you want to tie in some flash and give it a rib, by all means do that. I want this thing pretty dull, pretty natural looking, nothing crazy. I'm going to let the flash come from the bead, but I do want to jazz this up just a touch with some Copic markers and nothing crazy. I told you this would be fun, painless, short. So here we've got some prawn color. I'm just going to go in and make some little marks randomly, little lines, if you will, that are going to kind of follow that latex and all that. Just let it get wherever it wants to get, and that's it. There's a little bit of prawn color I put in. Now I'm going to come in with some salmon pink and kind of go over little spots here and there. You know, maybe move some of that prawn color by overlapping. That's okay, it's all good. And now I've got a little cocoa brown. And again, just going to get in there at random, just touch, nothing specific. I'm not trying to color this whole worm. I just want to give it some contrast inside of what we're going to do next, which is wrap our Scud back. And so get that first wrap. Forgive my tilting of this vise here for just a second. Just want to make sure I'm seeing a good start to this material. And now I'm just doing slightly overlapping wraps, the very same that I did with our Kiley's nymph skin underneath this. I don't know about you, but I can already see just how wormy this fly is going to be. And I'm telling you now, worm, grub, whatever you fish this as, it gets demolished, folks. So I'm going to be nice and tell you, don't tie one or two, tie by the dozen on this one. All right, so now we've got this pretty cool effect going here of this wormy, grubby deal. So now let's incorporate our tippet material and just very generically start giving this a little bit of strength on that body. I'm not digging in to that by any means. I'm just, you know, gentle, consistent kind of pressure, pretending I'm holding the wire, right? So I don't want to go extreme, be it soft or too much pressure either way. Just want to be kind of casual like so. That's a pretty juicy worm right there, folks. I'm stoked on this. I don't know about you. And again, I've tied and fished so many of these. I should feel bad about it, but I really don't. And nor should you. All right, so now everybody's favorite thing in the world is just whip finish this thing. And you can see there's a little lip of the materials that we trimmed there. I don't mind that one bit, because I know it's not going to slip through the thread wraps. But if that does bug you, no pun intended, go ahead and by all means get a little dubbing or something like that in there, or a different color marker. You know, mark that up and you shouldn't need even notice it. So this is our Scudback worm / grub. And again, if you want it to be just a grub, go, you know, all white or creamy colors. And if you want it more red or brown to match some of the worms that you know are in the certain system that you fish, by all means do that. Tie it in chartreuse or green if you want to match like a juicy caddis larva. All kinds of things to do with this fly, but the key and most important deal is fish love eating this. So there you have it, folks. Tying a worm / grub here today. Hope you had some fun. I sure did. If you like this video, by all means, please click that like button, hit that subscribe button, and we will see you all on the water.